Hey guys, Portia here, and today I am working on a Squid Games themed tumbler. So I have already prepped my base, cleaned it, all that good stuff. Right now I'm just spraying it down with some black flat spray paint. And I think this is pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is allow this to dry. And while it's drying, let's go ahead and jump right into Cricut Design Space and create ourselves some decals for the tumbler. So the theme, like I mentioned, Squid Games, but it is going to be specifically based on the coffin. So we saw the black coffin with the pink bow. So here I did download a couple of bows, and I practiced on cutting it on my maker, and I realized that the bow without as much detail worked best for me. And I also was able to get the bow from, I was about to say Canva, from Etsy. So you guys can go there and download. There's a ton of bows. You can get whatever bow you like, but I like this one. It kind of closely matched the theme. I didn't want the bow with the little V there, or the V cut. This was more straight. So this is why I chose that bow. So I am going to size this down to a little bit under 3 inches. I don't want it to be too overwhelming for our tumbler. That looks pretty good. And then now let's make us a set of ribbons, or a pair of ribbons, however way you want to say it. So I am going to, now the ribbon is going to pretty much form a T shape, or rather a cross. And that measurement should be based on whatever tumbler you're using. So today I am using the Built Tumbler. You can get them online. I picked mine up from Amazon because I was completely out of blanks and I wanted to do this project and I did not want to wait. So the measurement on that one, according to their website, is going to be, the height is actually 7.58. And I think I want to make it a little bit bigger, so let's just say 7.60. And the width, that's something you could choose, because this is just going to be one part of the ribbon, and I want to go with 0.70, so just under a quarter. So that is one part of our tumbler. And so let's go ahead and make the other side, and I'm going to go back to shapes here and unlock. And again, I want it to be 0.70. And then the height says it is 10.03, or whether at this point we're working on the circumference. So I'm going to say 10.05. Just give us a little bit of wiggle room there. All right. So what we're going to do now, let me get a little smaller so we can see what we're working with, is I'm going to take these two and I'm going to cross them. And this should be at about a 90-degree angle. Okay. And I want to bring this up here. Select both, and then I want to center horizontally. All right, y'all, that looks decent. So we're going to select all and we're going to weld this together. All right, so we now have our bow. Let me bring this in the front so we can see it in front. All right, cool. So what is left to do next? We are gonna go ahead and cut this out on craft foam, actually, and the material is gonna be pink. We didn't really have to change the color, but whatever. We're gonna bring this on over. I think I want to make our ribbon just a little bit bigger because I want to be able to see a little bit of the background behind the little this part of the bow here. All right, so if we go ahead and hit make it, we're gonna have our, like I mentioned, craft foam. So let's hit continue. And what I did find with my craft foam is you have to use the deep point blade, which I do have. You also have to move your star rollers over. The first time I completely forgot, even though the machine tells you to do it, I wasn't paying attention. You know how you guys get in the habit of just doing what you're used to doing. Don't do that with this. So you're gonna end up messing up your foam. So like I said, I used the deep point blade, and then what I did do here is less. You definitely want to do less pressure. Well, at least I did, because it cut through the foam and then actually got down to the board. I don't need all of that. So the less pressure works well for me. So what we're going to do, guys, is just go ahead and let the maker do its thing. And when we come back, we'll move on to the next step. All right, guys, so tumbler is completely dry with the black base, and our foam is cut out. So I did remove the bow, because it's in pieces, with some strong grip tape, because I want to stay in those pieces. And it'll be easier for me to transfer instead of trying to stick it down one at a time. And then we have our ribbon that's going to wrap around. Now, I could have used the foam with the already adhesive sticky back, but it actually, the one I had in the smaller pack wasn't wide enough to accommodate this big bow, but you can certainly use that as an option. So what I am going to do is go ahead and get our ribbon put down first. And what I'm going to do is just use some double-sided tape. Get this out the way right quick. And to rub it, oops, let me hold it the right way. And then we're just going to do this all the way down. So being careful not to stretch the foam too much. I'm putting all these little adhesive dots all on the back of here. So I'm going to just line this up right here. I'm going to eyeball it. Looks pretty good. Just press it firmly down. Turn this over. Press it firmly down. Looks good. Okay, so we have the first part of our ribbon down. And so what I'm going to do is the same thing. Just go ahead and put a little bit of tape all along the back of here. All right, that looks pretty good. I just wanted to make sure I got it all along the edges really well. I'm going to bring this back on over here. And pressing really hard. Okay, guys, our bow is laid, and one of the things that you definitely want to focus on is making sure your edges lay down well, because you don't want any epoxy flowing underneath there, and we are stuck really good. So you can use double-sided tape. Hot glue works well. You just don't want to burn through your foam and mess up your design. I do have to come in and cut here and cut here as well. But yeah, pretty much we are ready for the next step. So I was not going to leave well enough alone. I want to paint all of this with Mod Podge and come in with some black glitter. And then our bow is going to be in pink glitter. So right now, let's go ahead and prepare for our glitter stage. All right, guys, so I'm going to work in sections with our glitter. I'm going to do the black first. And the key is just going to be to get in all the little nooks and crannies with the black color. And then we're going to go all the way around. Now, I could have epoxy, well, rather glittered, then epoxy, then put down our decal. I think this may save a little bit of time and effort when it comes to our epoxy layers. So when we're putting our layers of epoxy down, all we're really focused on is finishing it, as opposed to doing the in-between layers. So I don't know if it's bad or good, but whichever works for you, you could totally do it that way. So So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting our black down. It already looks really, really good, and we haven't even put our pink on yet. So I'm kind of excited about this. All right, almost finished here. Now, another thing is when you're putting down your Mod Podge, it does help to also seal it, especially if you go around those edges of the bow really, really well. It's gonna help to seal because that's gonna dry with the glue all in there. So that's definitely a good thing. So what I'm gonna do is allow this layer to dry, and then I'll come back in with one more layer, and then we'll go right on into our pink. Okay, so here is where we are after 2 coats of black glitter. I am liking it. So far so good, and I made sure I did the little bottom there and the top. Now some black glitter did get on the pink. I tried to remove it as best. See, I added more as best as possible, but if it pops through, we'll call those highlights. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with some more Mod Podge. I switched to a smaller brush, and I actually took the tumbler off of the spinner so that I can kind of get a little bit closer in, because I'm not working on the same amount of area space that I had before. So yeah guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get our bow all complete, and then when we come back, we'll check out what we got. All right, after 2 coats of our glitter here, so I did get the seam to lay as flat as I wanted to, and guess what, we are going to call that a fold, because ribbons have folds that don't come out, right? And that's my story, sticking to it. And yeah, I did add a little bit of black around here. Thought that looked kind of nice, make it pop, give it a little bit of depth, make it pop off of the tumbler. So yeah, so far this 3D tumbler, 3D ribbon is really coming together. Totally could have used clay, but this is easier. I've never really worked with clay before, not in this capacity, and I just thought that foam would be easier for me to start with. Yeah, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is take my tumbler out back and spray it with the clear coat, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this twice, and then when we come back, we'll be ready for epoxy. All right guys, epoxy time. So I went on ahead and did my 2 coats of the clear coat, and our glitter is not moving whatsoever. It is solid. So the epoxy, of course, is going to bring the shine back to full bling. And so here's my game plan. We're probably going to end up doing 3 coats, and I'm going to do that off camera because all the coats are pretty much the same. So we got 1 coat going on now. I'm going to come back in 6 hours, do another coat, and then I'll go ahead and do the last coat, which will be our flood coat. And then once that's done, I will come back on camera and show you guys the finished look. All right guys, here we have it. Check out this shine. Now, one thing I really liked about using the foam as opposed to clay is that the tumbler itself is still super light, and it doesn't feel like bulky in my hand. That's one of the things that I was concerned about as far as creating a 3D tumbler, is the added bulk with the epoxy and then the clay and all that good stuff. But using the foam definitely helped to lighten the whole overall package, and it does feel good sitting in my hand. So yeah, I did 2 coats of epoxy. And from there, once that dried, I did a light sanding, and I came back in with my final coat. Fortunately, I did not have to do another layer, which I was happy about that. Definitely made some mistakes along the way, but they were definitely happy mistakes, and this is something I absolutely will be trying again. So yeah, guys, this is all I have for you today. I just want to share with you all my Squid Games themed tumbler. I had a lot of fun making it. I hope I've inspired you to make your own or even try your own 3D tumbler. If you got any questions, concerns, emotional outbursts, let me know. If you found this video helpful or even entertaining, could you go ahead and give it a thumbs up? But as always, until next time, peace.